from Southern California's largest paint and sip studio. Spotlight with Purple Easel.
Welcome to Purple Easel Spotlight, where we put the spotlight on artists and creatives. My name is Latoya.
And I'm Meagan.
And we're both art instructors here at Purple Easel, California's largest paint and sip studio. And today we're going to be covering some artists, and we're going to be talking about the news and all sorts of fun things.
All the things.
Yes. And we're going to start off with some news about Kara. Now, I call it Kara. Other people have been saying Kara. What do you call it?
I say Kara.
Oh, okay.
I read it as Kara.
Me too.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I'm excited for this one.
we will probably know by now. So in 1 week, Kara, a social media app used for creatives, grew from 40,000 people to 650,000 users due to Meta's AI policies. Mm-hmm. As we may already know, Instagram is a necessity for artists to promote and showcase their artwork. Mm-hmm. But Meta is using public posts to train its generative AI systems, and only European users can opt out of it since they're protected by a GDPR law, whatever that is.
So we need one of those.
Yes, we need
telling me
one of those things.
Yeah.
So Kara is an anti-AI artist rant app, so it's only natural for Insta users, to gravitate towards that. So obviously, and because they've had so many new users, it's like broken.
Oh yeah, it's overwhelmed the platform. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there was a period of like 3 days where almost every artist I follow, like in their story, on their wall. It's not a wall anymore. I'm going back to MySpace, whatever. Yeah, on their posts.
Yeah.
They're Kara.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, because not everybody is on the up and up, there was a huge push to move to Kara once it became known that they were basically using everything on the platform for their AI, which some artists ain't cool with.
Yeah. And, I've seen so many posts of people saying like, I've tried to, so you could try to opt out of it, but either
you have to show that like you're AI personally victimized by AI, which it's proving a negative, basically.
Yeah,
which is impossible.
Mm-hmm. So that kind of sucks. So that's why there's been a big push towards Kara.
Yeah.
So speaking of more AI news, this is kind of like there's a lot of stuff, as we talked about before, going on with Adobe right now.
Yes.
So one of Adobe's new terms of service went viral because it included provisions that give Adobe the rights to access, use, and monetize data uploaded to or processed by its software. This includes creative works like artworks and designs, which can be scanned and used for various purposes, such as machine learning and other devices. So people were like, oh my gosh, more AI stuff.
Yeah.
And Adobe's like, no, it's just for our software. You could totally opt out of it. It's totally cool. But with everything going on with the AI and just other Adobe shenanigans, like the government suing them for the whole...
Are they really?
Yeah.
No, the most I've heard is from Miranda. Like Miranda, who also works here, kind of dug into it, and we were talking about it at an away event together. And Miranda pointed out that a lot of other industries use Adobe, not just artists, like hospitals.
Yes.
And you think of like Acrobat, right? PDF. Every office in existence basically uses Adobe Acrobat to view PDF files. So like because of HIPAA laws and stuff, they're no longer able to use the software because Adobe has rights to it. But they can't have private information about people's medical records. So it's an avalanche of issues aside from we just want to grow our AI.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of problems. There's this whole like hidden fee situation to where if people, you have like your yearly subscription, but if you try to cancel before then, there's like this hidden few $100 fee that people were like, hey, I never saw anything like that, but they like hid it, really
slid it in there.
Yeah, slid it in there. So yeah, there's all sorts of interesting things going on in the social media and Adobe realm.
Yeah, it's all basically around AI at this point. I mean, we know it's going to be a part of the future, and I think now we're starting to see the pushback and hopefully some sort of regulations
We would like
Something?
that. We would very much like that, government. Yeah.
Europe's got it. I mean, just saying.
Yeah, just saying. Let's move on with it. I don't want to get into it, but I'm just saying is like
keep talking about AI, but it's like it's so hot right now. And we can't not discuss it because there's so much.
Lives. Yes, it's a part of our daily lives almost at this point.
Yeah.
With if you go on any social media app, there's going to be some AI usage, or you're going to see some AI stuff. So, anyways, but yeah, wish we could do something more about these AI things.
It's so funny because I was discussing with my daughter something or other. I don't remember what exactly. But she was like, basically said, she's like, so the robots can think, whatever it was, the train of thought. And I was like, well, this is such a can of worms. I don't have an 8-year-old explanation for it.
Yeah.
So, but she's her mind is working like crazy lately, and she's coming up with the like craziest stuff. It's pretty funny. We were playing Mario the other day, and we're not very good. She's especially not very good, but I can't do it for both of us. And we finished a section. Like you get to the midway point and you can get a flag, so then you don't have to start all the way at the beginning again when you die, as we inevitably do. And we were like, okay, we made it halfway. That's fine. It's not great, but it's fine. And then she turns to me a little later. She goes, Mom, I hope we can always have days like this. She's like, go team not great. It was like, okay, go team not great.
Yeah,
and so now that's just our thing. We're okay with not being great, but we have fun regardless. And I feel like that's something that everybody should aspire to.
I 1000% agree with that.
But since we're already off track, what's been going on in your week?
Well, I can't wait to tell you.
Oh boy.
So,
Go on.
our 2 stories, but they're all connected. The 2 stories. So earlier this week, I taught a class of 50 here, Purple Easel. And at the end of the class, the whole family was super cool. But one of the family members like comes up to me and like shakes my hand and holds it and is like, thank you so much. Like, I've never painted before. Like, I didn't know that I could even like do this and da-da-da-da. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is the best compliment ever. So I was like, thank you, blah, blah, blah. So there's that. And then yesterday, I did some fire things for the first time ever. Yeah.
You've been talking about it forever. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, I did a fire thing. Thank you so much. And so I was there with a bunch of girlies, and we did like a intro to fire, dancing, and choreography. And I was there with a bunch of ladies around my age, but we all have never done anything like this before, ever in our entire life. So we're all just super fresh. And some of us are like, yeah, we like to dance, and we don't dance professionally. So it was really nice because it was kind of ritualistic, and the fact that where we wrote down some things of like, where is fire in our lives? Where does it show up in our lives? And I mentioned work, and I was like, when I'm on stage, I'm like, doing the thing, but that takes fire to do that. But at the end of it, they were like, where is the fire now? Like in your life, how do you reflect on this? And I said, this gives me more courage to do something that I've never done, but always wanted to do. And I thought back to the guy that shook my hand because he was like, I didn't know I could do this. And so like, it's so interesting that we can all just as a collective create these moments for each other that were like, thank you so much. I had no idea I was even capable of doing this stuff. Yeah. And it was just very inspiring for me. So, yeah.
That's beautiful. I love that so much. I had a similar one. I got a hug. I didn't know I could paint this. Can I hug you? I'm like, okay.
Sure. Of course.
But it's funny because we have so many interactions with people on a regular basis, and you just never know what's going to stick with somebody.
Yeah.
Like, who's thinking of some weird moment that's not even on your radar years after the fact?
That's fun.
Be a light to others. That's all I could say, because you never know. It's super cool.
But also, just to answer any questions on what fire dancing is, there is a few different ways you can. It's essentially, it falls under the flow arts community, which are like performers. There's so many. There's like hula hoop fire dancers. There's palm torch dancers. There's fire spinning of some sort. And you either just like perform and dance, and you could do it at your cousin's wedding or some other like tropical place where you're like,
right before neon night,
or it totally can now. So essentially that's what fire dancing is. If anyone was wondering, like, what the heck is that? I've never seen that, but you could Google it also and then find some cool pictures. Have you ever been like on a luau or something like that where they have fire performers? It's something similar to that.
That's so cool. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
I'm so proud. As one of my dear friends always says, do it scared. Who do you know who says that?
You? Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah. All the time. You're like, just do it scared. And so I'm glad. I'm glad you did.
And I did do it scared. Oh my gosh. I was like telling my fiance, I was like, I want to go home. Like, I was like sitting outside. I'm like, I'm so scared.
But
it was
you
fine.
did it.
Yeah.
And now it's this huge accomplishment, and it makes the next step even easier.
Yes, agreed.
Awesome. Wow. That's a lot. We've had a busy few weeks here at the studio. Lots of away events.
Yeah.
We just got through like what we refer to as Hell Week, because it's all the summer school programs having us come
hundreds of kids.
Lots and lots of kids events. Sometimes back to back.
Sometimes in the heat.
Outside at 100 and something degrees, which not a big fan of. But speaking of outdoor artwork, I have one little bit of news I wanted to share, because it relates to one of our recent artists we discussed, Banksy. So there is a man who has now been sentenced to 2 years in prison because he decided he wanted to cut out this rat with a box cutter from the fixture that it was on. Like, he went up there with an angle grinder and tried to cut it out and just like, yoink.
What?
Yeah.
Why is Banksy always
So,
okay?
not only does he have the cojones for that, but he takes it even farther. As part of his defense, he says that he wanted to stop others from making money from the street art of no value, to denounce the hypocrisy of a capitalist system that decides which art has value and which does not.
What a statement.
Says the guy stealing somebody else's artwork, presumably to then sell it off and make money on it. And Banksy's reps were like, nah, that's not how it went down. He said that he was sent there by Banksy to collect the piece.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Then why are you in trouble?
Right. But I mean, think about it, right? So this like old sign that's there, Banksy painted on it, and vandalism, technically, but at least it's still intact. This guy's literally going to like cut it apart to. That's like a whole other level of vandalism.
Yeah.
It's so disrespectful to the artist, too. It's like tagging over their stuff, but you just like erase it.
This is like a vandalism inception or something.
It is. It's so crazy.
So strange.
But people always pulling this with Banksy because he stays, kind of like we talked about before. Is he really going to put up a stink about it? But I mean, he did have reps who were like, no, this is not sanctioned by Banksy. This says his story is bunk. So I just thought that was crazy. He's going to spend the next 2 years in prison because he stole some art from the street.
Just shake my head. Just shake my head. I got nothing to say about that because I'm just like, wow, really?
Yeah, so I know we spent a little bit longer on news than we normally would, but we also haven't filmed in a couple of weeks, and things have been popping.
Yeah, no, they've been building up.
So we will try to get through some of our content.
Okay.
We're going to do things a little different today. We're not going to have an old school artist and a current artist. We're going to have a slew of old school artists and a current artist. So we're going to go through a little bit of the history of still life.
Yay.
And there's a lot. The well is very, very deep. And I will preface this by saying that we're going like maybe 10 feet in. We're just dipping our toes. We're not, there's so much. There's so much. But I wanted to start us off with the caves at Lascaux because I've mentioned it in previous episodes and how that one could argue that this is the very first still life.
Yeah.
Because they're depicting their food. It's animals, it's a hunt, and there's a whole lot of examples. This is just one. Is it the first still life? I don't know. I'm not make an argument either way.
Yeah.
I think.
I'm not about it. I think it's valid.
Yeah.
They ate those things.
Yeah. And they described like where to find them, how they hunted them. It was kind of an instruction manual of their daily lives and how to survive. So I don't know. Could be. And if you don't think so, that's okay.
Yeah.
I've got more for you. So some of the earliest examples aside from Lascaux are from the ancient Egyptians. And they were often discovered in the burial sites as funerary paintings depicting meat, fish, grains, basically everything they thought that they would want to have in the afterlife. They had a belief that if it was represented there, it would come to fruition and they'd be able to enjoy it in the afterlife. So we've got baskets of fruit, we've got game birds, fish, like
eggs.
So many things. And it's cool because it really gives you a snapshot of the time, like what were they eating, what were considered luxury items, how were they storing them, like all the little nuances. You don't think of these as a still life, but
this is very interesting because even though it's a still life, but it just kind of makes me think like, dang, we've been using baskets forever.
And like clay, like pottery that they would make to store oils and liquids and all kinds of stuff, transporting goods. It's crazy. It's been around for.
And it's interesting because, that was super hot and popping at the time. And so much so to they were like, we want this in the afterlife.
Yeah.
And
we want to take it with us.
Yeah. And I think about like, when I die, can I have my playlist? Like, I just want can I listen to music still? So I'm like, I think about that. So obviously they think about food.
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting that we're still thinking about the afterlife.
We're always thinking it's like the what would your last meal be discussion. And I mean, mine changes depending on my mood. Yeah. I can't quite nail it down. I don't know. Maybe it's a BLT with avocado. Maybe it's a steak and potato. I don't know. Maybe it's a big juicy hamburger. Maybe it's a bowl of pasta. Depends on my mood.
Interesting. Mine's has always been fettuccine Alfredo.
Really?
Yeah. It's what I get
creamy. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Let's scroll this down. So then outside of ancient Egypt, we see lots of examples in the ancient Greek and Romans. They would paint frescoes to show the wealth of the inhabitant of their villas or whatever. So right on the walls, just these really ornate scenes, often depicting everyday items from life.
I wonder what some of these fruits, I'm like, what are they and what do they taste like?
I think that one's a pomegranate that's split open. And I know that's one of like the longest.
Are you talking about the green ones?
Yeah, just right there in the
that one, yeah.
what
about the green ones though?
I have no idea.
Because it's like red in the center. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Jelly filled.
All kinds of things that probably don't even exist or have been so like changed by now. Lots of fish, lots of poultry, lots of everything.
Interesting.
But I mean,
Interesting.
They're just taking snapshots. It's like such kitchen art, right?
Very kitchen art. Wow. We've been doing this for a long time.
A very long time. So, and if you still don't consider that a still life, we get into the early Renaissance in Italy, and painter Jacopo de Barberi made what is considered the first like still life in 1504. And this is an arrow going through a fowl and some gauntlets. And then he's got this little piece of paper that's there, but it also has his signature hidden there on the paper. So a little bit of inception there too. which
This is pretty cool.
it's cool. And he like painted all the wood grain. So I don't know if it's on a table and you're looking
Right.
bird's eye or if it's hanging on a wall.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. And I like all the little chainmail.
Yeah.
Pieces are really
Lots
nicely
of
done.
little details. And even on the like spike, you can see some sort of
Yeah.
metallurgy going on. Yeah, it's really cool.
Very detailed.
And yeah, it definitely reads as a still life. Like if the other stuff didn't do it for you before, this is really a turning point. So, but still life really started to gain traction with the Dutch. In fact, they are the ones that came up with the term still life. They called it still even,
Okay.
which,
Okay.
so the Dutch golden age of the 17th and 18th century, they came up with vanitas, which is a genre that really kind of combined a lot of religious
Iconography.
Thank you. I can't talk today. And what we have, as we refer to as memento mori, which is basically with life comes death. And so you start to see the goth, like feeling, and there's a lot of skulls. There's so many skulls. I'm like, how did everybody just have skulls sitting around? Like, it's so weird.
No, they for sure just had them
When I Googled it, I was like, oh, this is so much. And I pulled a bunch of images. They're cool, but like they kind of start to look the same because everybody was doing it. It was all like, this obviously is the same artist because they have this very specific goblet they like to paint with the
ribbed
balls
goblet.
of glass. Yeah, like that does not look comfortable to hold.
No, it
for
doesn't.
several reasons. It's really wide.
Oh, I like that.
And it's
broken glass.
messy. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
But
no.
look at all the details in that chalice.
That looks
It's
real.
insane.
That is crazy. You know, I kind of like these though because it's like dark but beautiful at the same time. And it's like a little bit of it's the goth vibe, but it's
Well, you know what? I've been watching this show. I think it's on Hulu, but they cover up like bad tattoos.
oh, okay.
And there's so many like they refer to the classic tattoos of like the skull and the rose, and it just gives me those vibes, like the old school kind of goth, but not really goth. Maybe before it was goth.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting. But you see some like decaying fruit and things that aren't at their peak of perfection, a lot like we talked about with Caravaggio, and that's why he was considered one of the fathers of still life. But he kind of fits into a lot of this theme, you can see. Yeah, it was pretty prevalent.
Beautiful.
And then on the Scottish end of things, lots of dead animals.
Okay. I mean, okay. I like the skulls.
Yeah.
I don't so much like the dead animals.
Yeah, so I didn't put as many of these. I mean, I get it.
Yeah,
It's part of the process and eating.
Yeah.
And especially
just
what
feel
they
like it's a
ate
weird,
then.
Like, I think it's just a weird placement. I don't know. It's just like, meh.
Yeah.
And then be like, I don't know. Like, and the skulls
And
make
you
sense
have to
to
be
me. But
relatively quick, right? Because it's probably going to start to smell.
yeah. At least the skulls, like, it's already, the flesh is gone.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, but that was a thing. And you can see we're getting some, like, brighter contrasts, really detailed. I mean, the cauliflower here is super impressive.
That meat is meating.
The meat is very meaty. So if you're not into meat, maybe avert your eyes for those. And then we move into the Spanish during the Renaissance. They became more focused on the strong lighting and the details, and they even developed the term bodegon, which to me sounds like bodega.
Yeah. Yes.
And I think maybe there's a reason for that. But it's the Spanish translation of storeroom or tavern. And it was adopted to describe the popularity of different items that were edible.
Sounds like the connection. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was apparently drinking chocolate was very, very popular at this time in Spain. And so you'll see depictions of, I don't know if it was hot chocolate or chocolate milk.
Yeah.
But they just said drinking chocolate, and that's all I could find reference to.
Wow, I want to drink chocolate.
Yeah, right. We got old woman cooking some eggs.
Nice.
We've got a lovely, you could see the contrast in this.
I love that.
I feel like I could pick up one of those apples and just bite right into it. It's insane, the detail and the shadow. And then here we have some chocolate, apparently. This is where the chocolate showing. I guess it's in those little cups.
Okay.
Because they're drinking, you know.
Gotcha.
It's amongst a bunch of other stuff.
This is, go back to that real quick. This is so nice.
Yeah,
This
look
is
at how
super
pretty that like
detail.
ebony chest is with the detail and the different vases.
Yeah, this is one of those things you could stare at a long time.
Yeah. The fabric.
Yeah.
I like the color choices too. So the fabric on the table is predominantly reddish, but then you've got little touches of red throughout to kind of bring it all together so it doesn't seem garish
Yeah.
in comparison to all the soft taupes and natural colors.
I like it.
I love this one. I don't know why hanging vegetables is just my thing, I guess.
Well, it's like a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5.
Yeah.
It has like a pattern, like rhythm, or at least that's how my brain sees
it does. It does have a rhythm, and it's well balanced.
Yeah.
Like if it was all just sitting on the ledge with all that dark space, it would look very
Yeah, the
one
space is
note,
good.
boring. But I think elevating, even if it's just hanging from a string, don't know why you'd do that other than to make it look cooler, but it works.
Ooh.
Yes. Delish. It's a grasshopper.
Oh, I did not even see the grasshopper. What is him doing there?
I don't know. Burrowing into fruit. I don't know.
Yeah, they do be doing that.
Yeah. And then, of course, as we get into more modern history, we see still lifes take on every style imaginable. We've got Impressionist. We've got, you can see Monet here studying some lemons. We've got Van Gogh and the post-impressionists. I mean, we take it for granted, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
it's so famous.
Yeah.
Irises, but the sunflower, it's all still lifes.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just a thing that's sitting on a table somewhere and somebody paints it. And this I thought was such a fun conglomeration. Basically.
Yeah.
Like it's a portrait, but it's a still life.
See it now. I see it. This looks
And
like
again,
AI art.
It does, but there is a famous artist whose name I can't think of right at this moment, but it's even on Animal Crossing. Like, it's made it, all right? These kind of portraits, they're so ridiculous, but I love them.
No, it's like a handsome Squidward, but not a handsome Squidward. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah. And then we've got some more modern ones, Scottish colorist. I don't know why they refer to him as a colorist and not just an artist, but Cadal made all these like flattened ones, which I think are cool. And it says he was inspired by Oriental prints. And I don't really get that from it, but maybe because there's not the depth. You think of like Oriental art as being kind of more two-dimensional.
Yeah.
So maybe
Yeah.
that's why.
I'm assuming that it's got to be it. also.
Yeah. But I love the color choices.
Me too. I actually do like that one.
The composition. And it's a great chance for artists to explore a style.
Yeah.
And that's what you see a lot. And is when we get down further, we see Cezanne, who's famous for his still lifes. In fact, a lot of times I see customers here who just their style is a little more chunky.
Yeah.
They're like, help me blend it. And I'm like, no, don't blend it.
Yeah.
Cezanne made a whole living on not blending it. Like, it's okay. You can have chunks of color. Like,
Yeah.
it still reads as that object. And then, like Picasso, he was classically trained.
That is true.
So we see some like really basic ones. Then we see some of the cubists coming through. And then like the ultra cubists, we're
yeah.
back to the skull.
Uh-huh.
Lichtenstein did still lifes. I mean, it's really a study of form and light.
Yes.
And those are such important components to art that it's a great way to practice it.
Yeah, it's pretty much kind of like a bit of Art 101. If you were to take like a intro to art class,
Yeah.
you're going to find towards the beginning your still lifes because you are playing with the lights and the gradations and talking about light sources and da-da-da-da.
Yeah, cast shadow, transient shadow. Like, it's all very complicated. But we even got Warhol doing still lifes and then taking it to the next level, making it into pop art. We've got more Cubist still lifes. I mean, they're just prolific. There are so many.
Yeah.
Love me some still lifes.
We have quite a bit of still lifes also here at Purple Easel as well.
I mean, because it's easily translated. Like, people just love stuff.
Yeah.
We're materialistic when it comes down to it.
And
So
we love to eat and we love food
yeah,
and
I
flowers.
super love food and flowers. Actually, yes.
It's pretty much like if it's around, you're going to draw it or you're going to paint it. I feel like it's no different than when you're just in your sketchbook and you just find something and you're like, yeah, it's a study.
Absolutely. And every bit of practice helps. You're just putting it all in the bank of skills and talent and creativity. Like every little bit helps. Whew. But after all that,
Wow, that was a really nice history, actually.
yeah, I wasn't thorough.
Yeah, but that was a
kind of
nice
fun to go through a little bit of the timeline of still lifes. But I think we should take a beat.
scene.
Let's talk a little bit about Purple Easel.
What is Purple Easel, Megan?
I mean, it's this awesome studio that we're here at. It's paint and sip, so you get to BYOB, and then we walk you through how to paint something. And there's all kinds of different events. So if you're one of our 54 subscribers on YouTube, first shout out, thank you. Big thank you.
Yes.
That's like half of 100.
Yeah.
That's exciting for us.
Thank you.
And you're local, get into the studio.
Yeah, you're going to have a good time.
If you're not local, then we've got the purpleeasel.coms for you. So Purple Easel Plus allows you to basically get a bunch of our content through the interwebs. You can pause, rewind, mute if that's what you're feeling.
Yeah. You can
Learn some things.
be at home and drink a little wine or your Hennessy or your beer or your Kool-Aid or whatever it is that you want to drink and paint one of our paintings as well.
Yeah. In fact, people have so much fun here at the studio that they like to give us Yelp reviews, which we are all for. Word of mouth means everything to us. But I wanted to share this one because it was just so succinct and like happy. Yeah. Made me happy. So Kelly D says, "This is so fun and all the art turns out great. The teachers are easy to follow and they each have different fun personalities. I've been many times and each was awesome."
Good. I'm glad that people are having a great time here, and I'm glad that they get to see all the different personalities too, and that we all just want to spread the creativity, the fun, the positivity, and I think it registers to our customers.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's what Spotlight's all about too, is digging in a little deeper to really support the mission of Purple Easel, which is to enrich lives through the joy of painting.
Yep. So you definitely want to make sure to like, subscribe, share, ring that bell, all that you can to keep updates on our YouTubes and X and all stuff like that for any information that we have or just our podcast or any ads, you know, because we do have a lot of different types of classes.
Yeah. And then, of course, maybe if you have a cool comment, we can feature it here on the show.
Yeah.
So do that. Okay. Are we ready to get into our artists?
Yes, because it's going to make me hungry.
Yeah. I'm so sorry about that. I should have had a
Disclaimer.
warning. Yeah. So maybe go get some snacks real quick because we're going to be throwing it at you pretty hard right now. Going to go over some work by Noah Verrier. Yep. Wow. So he is taking still lifes to another level in this modern time of ours using oils.
Can I say something real quick?
Please do.
Okay. I don't even like, I like peanut butter. That's it. And peanut butter and sandwich, peanut butter sandwich. There we go.
Okay, so no jelly.
Correct.
All right.
I'm trying to say is I don't like jelly.
You don't like jelly. That's
I
fine.
like peanut butter and the bread. That's it. But this so badly makes me want to eat jelly. And I hate jelly, but it looks so good. I want the jelly and I hate jelly. It's so good. It looks And I don't even drink milk like that. I don't even drink milk like that. I only have it in my cereal.
That's so weird. I've never been a milk person. Never into it, except with peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. There's something about it cuts through the peanut butter. And then like some cookies or chocolate cake or, you know, certain things that help. But peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with milk is actually a great combination. And it took me to be an adult to figure that out. So I don't know why. But he obviously knows what's up.
Yeah.
Because he has made this delicious morsel, just that little drip of jelly.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The little jelly bit at the bottom.
And this is one of his first ones that really went viral.
Okay.
So he was on Facebook. He eventually got an Instagram, but he wasn't getting a ton of traction. And then suddenly somebody was like, hey, check out this thread on Reddit. And it was his art. Somebody was sharing like, I love this, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, cool. Do you mind? And so he started posting his own stuff and just became completely viral. And now he's been featured in Mean Girls and like all this stuff. Like he's gotten all these brand contracts, which just looking at it makes you want to eat it.
I'm not surprised.
So,
I'm not surprised.
We know this is a Big Mac.
Yeah.
We don't even need the arches to tell us to go buy one. Like it's insane to me. How does he make it look so good? It's like a food stylist, but like one step removed.
This is ridiculous because I don't even like Big Macs like that. But I so badly want this Big Mac.
And I love that he's holding it in this one. That's why I included it, because you can see the scale and like the actual one compared to his painted one, like what the reference does for it. It's just so cool. It's so cool. And he doesn't despair. Like he does everything.
Look at it dripping.
The drippy Chinese food. I need it. I need it. Why does it look so good?
Ooh.
This one's nice and summery.
Oh, my sister loves watermelon. I'm going to show her.
Yeah, me and my kid love watermelon, and my dad and my husband hate it.
Really?
So like, we don't buy a whole watermelon because the two of us have to eat it. So I just every once in a while get a little package. But look at the reflections in this glass on the mason jar. You can see the cur, like the brand.
I was thinking about that with the milk. I'm like, how do you do that?
That's part of, for me, what I enjoy about still lifes, especially like flowers and stuff, is playing with the light. Glass, especially because it reflects the different colors. You can have a lot of fun with it. So I'm just in awe because it's stunning.
It is.
And you can see the brush strokes. It's almost impressionist, you know, but still so detailed.
Yeah, that's one thing that I maybe that's why it's so popular, because it's neither nor. It's not like extremely detailed to where you get all the little, like you still
It's
read
not photorealistic.
Yeah.
It looks like a painting.
Yeah.
And you can appreciate it on another level.
Yes, and
than
it
if it
still
was a
looks
picture.
like juicy. It still looks like you want it.
Yeah. So I want it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Grilled cheese. The melty, like the glisten on the cheese that's dripping. Oh, it's burnt out. Come on, dude.
This is nice. This is a modern take on still life. I love that.
It made me so happy.
This is really dope, actually.
Who thinks of doing that? They're like, I'm going to do fast food. Like the one thing we're all ashamed of, but we're all like, let me have some of those fries.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. We should throw up the Purple Easel.
Yeah.
We got like a little slight version of it a little bit.
Yeah, as you were saying, I've never seen that version of the Purple Easel painting. So yeah, we definitely got to include that. That's super cool. But again, I mean,
oh, pizza with some
pizza and some tequila. I mean, the salt on the rim. Come on.
Okay.
And then beautiful flowers.
Okay, this is cute.
Beautiful fries. Some bouquet fries.
It's got the little ketchup on the bottom. It's always these extra little details he adds.
It is. And it's just so good. It's so good. But look at all the colors that are in those fries.
Oh, yes,
you
actually.
see like green for the shadows, which is perfect to complement the red of the packaging. Guilty. I need that. Puffs. Get us some Cheeto puffs. the texture, the differences in texture that he's exploring.
You know what? This is an open bag.
Yeah.
On the side. Okay. I see.
You can see a little bit of the shiny from the bag.
Okay, cool.
I mean, that's...
Cream.
And again, with the mason jar.
He's really good at this.
Really good at it. Really good. And so, like, he found his niche, right? Like, he was experimenting with a bunch of stuff. He's a little more classically trained, but we love our stuff. We love the things that connect us as a society. And so the golden arches are recognizable, and it's insane. I mean, hand in my version.
You did make this. It's beautiful.
I totally forgot about this one. So that's super funny. So this is a painted version of very crusty jars that we have here at the studio with a bunch of brushes. But I forgot about this, and I brought this, which leads into my discussion question for you. So I did this mason jar when I read this quote, and it's from one of my favorite recording artists, Ben Folds, and I read his memoirs, something about lightning bugs. Anyway, it says, at its most basic, making art is about following what's luminous to you and putting it in a jar to share with others. And I so love that. So I went on a little project. Well, that's why this like my bad calligraphy. And my awesome. I am not a calligrapher. I write in cursive, and I just have my own like kind of sloppy cursive writing. So it was hard. Like I should have just printed this. But this is colored pencil.
Oh,
and it's a method called colored pencil painting. And you use mineral spirits to kind of saturate the colors more and smooth them out. But yeah, that's colored pencil.
The brush?
Yeah.
You use the brush. Okay. Interesting.
So yeah, I have a thing for jars too. I guess like me and him, we're twinsies.
Yes, this is beautiful, and this is beautiful as well.
Well, thanks. It wasn't meant to be a brag session, but I just think it's cool because, like, I can relate. I've experienced what it is. The jars.
And jars.
And the jars. So I get it. I appreciate you, man. But because I shared a quote that I like, that inspires me, do you have any?
Why, yes, there's a lot, but
There are a lot. That's just one of my favorites.
Just a free advertisement. It's just so
I really
pretty.
appreciate it.
This is our jars from Purple Easel.
I'm turning red from the embarrassment here. I'm not good at this.
Yes, this is what our jars look like here at Purple Easel when we pass them out to customers. But
it's beautiful. It's chaotic beauty to me.
And see, you even did the little thing. You had like the extra like
little drippy.
Yeah.
It was fun doing like these bits. So I was really loving kind of the ochre yellow, like a deeper, and then you use brighter yellow for the shinier parts, but it really gives it that deep, like brassy look. And I had never had that color paint before. I bought it specifically for this project, and it's one of my new favorites.
Ooh.
So yes, experiment, because you never know.
Exactly.
Okay, give me your quote. Well, we got to get the spotlight off of me. I can't take it.
There's just so many, but I'm going to just steal Pablo Picasso's quote. Painting is just another way of keeping a diary. And, you know, if you think about your sketchbooks, like, I don't know. So I don't know if I can do this, but when I die and be cremated, I want my sketchbooks to go with me. I want them burnt with me because
you want to destroy your legacy?
I will not have a legacy. I'm trying to
in and out.
Get out of here. That sounds weird. Every time I tell people, I'm like, I'm not suicide. I just, you know, I want to move on, and that's it. I don't want to leave anything.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
And me, on the other hand, my child recently found one of my sketchbooks. So I had never filled up a sketchbook like from start to finish until I did Inktober.
Oh, okay.
Because it's like you do some things and then it just wanders off, and then you get a new one and then you're like, oh, look, fresh page, you know, like you get excited and move on. But she decided to cut out my artwork from my sketchbook and tape it into her diary. And I almost cried. I mean, I was really close to tears and trying not to like be mad at her, but I had to talk to her about like respecting other people's things and not.
That is cute. That's really cute, but like
also like stay away from my stuff. So that was a hard one.
You're like, that's my diary,
right,
not your diary.
Exactly, but it is. It's exactly what it is. It's a diary of your progress. And Miranda, when we were on that same away event, because we were chatting in the van because it was trafficky, but she was telling me about how she came across an old sketchbook and there's stuff in there from like when she was 11 years old and she's so embarrassed by it. But at the time she's like, oh man, look at me. I'm awesome. And I'm like, right. I look back at old work and I was like, oh, at the time I was so proud. And now I'm just like,
yeah, that's partially why I want mine's burned. That's partially...
You don't want people to see the progression? I think the progression is so important, especially for other artists out there who are like scared and don't want to do it and don't want to put their work out. I think showing your mistakes and
that's fine. I just don't want
the fact that they're not all winners. They're not, despite what social media will have you think. Those are curated.
I've been saving my stuff since I was like 11.
Nice.
So I have a lot, and that's why I'm like, no one's gonna see them. I mean, I actually like there's like Batman and Ninja Turtles and Mega Man and all sorts of cool comic book stuff. But there's a lot of like my own stories that I made up and a lot of
you.
Yeah.
It's your diary.
Yeah. They're going with me.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That makes sense.
Anyways,
I can appreciate that. But we would love to hear from you about your sketchbooks / diary escapades and if it's something that you find value in, or would you get rid of it? Would you burn it? Would you donate it to a museum? Do you see there's like museums that collect sketchbooks and stuff, which I think are cool?
Me and my 20s sketchbooks are fine.
Yeah. Oh, okay. We got a cutoff date now. We're good. We're fine.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, thank you so much to our viewers for tuning in today and checking out some of the history of still lifes and our artist, Noah, whose last name I'm not even going to try to say again this time. You read it on the screen. And yeah, how do we normally end this?
Well, we would, but the TV is doing it.
Yeah, it is doing a thing. So we're trying to, fly by the seat of our pants here. We used to be better at this. Also, I miss outtakes.
Oh, yeah.
I was watching some of the older episodes, and I miss outtakes and segues.
Yeah. Oh, those segues. Oh, yeah. We need to add the segues.
We need to get all the things together to make like the ultra episodes. We're working on it.
Yeah.
So let us know your feedback. What do you like seeing? What do you not like seeing? Or maybe what do you like
on the
more?
internet is like your faces.
Oh, I opened a can of worms on that one.
It's okay.
Give us the info.
Well, we got our screen back, so we're going to do a take 2 on our outro.
Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to check out our artists in the links below.
Visit purpleeaselplus.com to paint with the world's largest online paint sip studio.
And if you're ever in Southern California, swing by the studio, come by and paint with us. In the meantime, create more and create often.
Bye.
That was painful. But we did it.
It got done.
It got done.